I saw the exact moment you sat on the edge of your bed earlier today, your eyes fixed on the floor and your hands trembling slightly, as if the weight of the world rested on your shoulders. There was a heavy silence in your soul, a kind of weariness that a whole night's sleep cannot cure. You asked me in a whisper that no one else heard, why it seemed so difficult to overcome the same inclinations, the same fears and those desires that seemed to pull you down away from my light. You clicked on this video because your heart cried out for a sign, and I stopped what I was doing to tell you. The secret to the peace you so desperately seek is not in fighting harder, but in learning to crucify the flesh today so that you can finally walk in the Spirit. Many try to teach this as a cold rule of religion, but I will show you today as a liberation of pure love. I know you have tried many times and failed, and perhaps even feel ashamed of it. But today I will open your eyes to what happens in the spiritual world when you decide to truly surrender. There is a clear answer reserved for you at the end of this message, a phrase I will whisper to your heart that will serve as a key to open the doors that fear has locked. If this mystery I am about to reveal is already touching your soul, speak to me now. Say your name below. Write the city, state, or country from which you hear me, and what time it is at this exact moment in your earthly life. At this moment, I feel your heart vibrate with a truth that hurts and liberates at the same time. Don't keep this feeling to yourself. Let this cry rise to my throne as a sincere outpouring from a daughter who can no longer walk alone. Let your soul shout, Lord my God, I am here. I signed up because I love you and want to hear you. I see every tear you swallowed while washing the dishes, or when you looked at the ceiling in the darkness of your room, feeling that the sky seemed like bronze, heavy and insurmountable. You have been trying to conquer the flesh with the weapons of the flesh itself, and that is why exhaustion has found you. Crucifying yourself is not a punishment. It is my invitation for you to stop carrying what I already carried for you on that cross 2,000 years ago. If you remain with me until the last second of this encounter, I will release prophetic blessings upon your life that are being held back by anxiety, and you will leave here knowing exactly how to silence the voices that try to distance you from me. The internal war you wage, this combat between what you desire and what you know is my will, is the field where I wish to manifest my glory. You feel that your will is a giant, but I tell you that it is only a shadow that disappears when my light truly enters. I know your vulnerability, the trembling in your hands when opening the bills at the end of the month, or the feeling of emptiness when the house is silent. All of this is part of the process of showing you that human strength is limited, but my spirit is inexhaustible. Are you ready to understand what it truly means to leave behind what hurts you? Because there is still something I am silently preparing, a revelation about that painful moment you experienced last week that you still haven't fully understood. If this word touched the depths of your soul, feel my embrace now and leave your sign of gratitude on the small heart of this video. Why do you still insist on carrying this heavy burden when I am here with outstretched hands? Share this light with someone you know who is also struggling in the silence of the early morning. Write in the comments the word that defines your new beginning, renunciation. Wait, because what I will show you next is where your pain meets my purpose. I see you walking through the kitchen in the middle of the night when the only sound filling the room is the monotonous hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the wooden cabinet. Your bare feet feel the cold floor, a sharp contrast to the heat of the anguish that still burns in your chest. You lean against the counter, look at the forgotten coffee cup, and wonder where that woman full of dreams got lost among the obligations and failures that insist on repeating themselves. This heavy silence in the empty kitchen is not just the absence of a voice. It's the cry of your flesh trying to convince you that you are alone in your fight against your own weaknesses. But what you haven't yet realized is that this cold floor is in fact sacred ground where I wish you to build an altar of renunciation. Crucifying the flesh doesn't happen on grand stages or under bright lights. It happens right there, in the detail of your weariness, in the moment when your urge to retaliate with a harsh word is stronger than your desire to remain silent. The flesh craves control, it craves immediate comfort. It wants you to feed on resentment to feel protected. But I call you to something deeper. For it is written in Galatians chapter 5, verse 16, "Walk in the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Understand, my daughter, that the flesh and the spirit live in a constant war within you, and the secret to walking on the waters of peace is to stop feeding that which holds you to the ground. On that day when you felt that lump in your throat while setting the table, I was there. I saw when the desire to give up on everything almost overcame your faith. That is the flesh crying out for help, trying to keep you enslaved to cycles that I have already broken. When I tell you to crucify these desires, I'm not taking away your joy. I'm removing the debris that prevents my life from flowing in you. Now imagine that every fearful thought, every anxious impulse, and every ounce of pride that causes you suffering is being nailed to that rough wooden cross. It hurts to let go of what we think belongs to us. But it is in this pain that my strength becomes perfect within you. Deep within this silence that now envelops you, I am breathing a new direction. You no longer need to carry the weight of being perfect in the eyes of the world, because I have already accepted you in your vulnerability. But I have not yet shown you all that this altar in the kitchen can generate in your lineage. There is a secret about the peace of your home that will only be revealed when your self finally falls silent, so that my voice becomes the loudest sound of your existence. Do you feel that something is changing now, as if an invisible burden is slipping from your shoulders? Before we follow this path of light, let me ask you, what are you still holding on to with so much fear of losing that is preventing your next step with me? If your heart desires that my spirit govern every room of your soul, show me that you are listening. Subscribe so you don't miss the thread of this divine conversation, and share this message with that person you know who also cries silently in the middle of the night. Write in the comments the phrase that seals our pact at this altar: total surrender. Stay attentive, because what I am about to reveal to you is an invitation that will change the way you see every seed you plant on earth. At this very moment, as my presence envelops your being and tears of relief begin to wash away the weariness from your eyes, I invite you to take a step that breaks with the logic of the world and seals your victory over the flesh. Human pride always says to hoard, and fear whispers to hold back. But my spirit teaches you that true life is born from total surrender. I saw your days of scarcity and the nights when you counted every coin with a heavy heart, but today I call you to experience the freedom of one who trusts that I am the owner of all gold and all silver. If your heart is feeling this profound touch and desires that this light that has reached you now may reach other daughters who also suffer in anonymity, listen to what I have to propose to you at this instant. If it is possible for you, only if it is possible, transform your gratitude into a seed of love for this channel. Consider my love and that of my son Jesus, and contribute using the link in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. There you will find the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. You can contribute any amount. If you want a different amount, just type the desired amount. And remember, only what fits in your heart right now. I receive with love. The financial value doesn't matter. What matters is the heart with which you give. Because a little for you can be a lot for the one who receives. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, don't forget to leave your name and city along with your contribution. Because on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and page, Divine Love, the Voice of God, your name will be remembered, mentioned in gratitude, and covered with divine blessings released in prayer of faith. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 7, each one should give what he has decided in his heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Every offering made in faith is a seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear fruit. I see in secret, and reward in the sight of all. Stay until the end of this message, because I still want to touch your heart with my voice. I see the marks on the palms of your hands, small invisible scars from how long you have held onto the ropes of your own life, trying to prevent everything from falling apart. You have fought with a strength you no longer possess, trying to fix what only I can restore, and the result has been a weariness that makes you sigh deeply as you look out the living room window, watching the day pass without your miracle blossoming. You think that if you let go of control, the abyss will swallow you, But I am here to tell you that the abyss you fear is, in fact, the ocean of my grace, where I await you to teach you to float instead of drowning. Tearing the veil between your will and my action is the bravest act you can perform today. It is the moment when you look to the sky and say, "Father, I can't anymore." And it is precisely at that instant that I begin to work the impossible. Remember that afternoon, about 2 weeks ago, when you sat on the hallway floor, leaning against the cold wall, and let the tears flow freely because your plans had failed again. At that moment, your silence screamed louder than any rehearsed prayer. You felt a chill down your spine and an emptiness in your stomach, the raw sensation that your hands were too small for the size of your problem. I was there, feeling the same cold and collecting every drop that fell from your face. Your mistake wasn't failing, but believing that success depended solely on your sweat and sleepless nights. The flesh desires the glory of effort, but the spirit demands the humility of dependence. For it is written in the book of the prophet Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 6, "Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts." As long as you continue trying to solve everything with human logic, with desperate phone calls, with sleepless nights planning for tomorrow, you will be blocking the vision of what I have already prepared in the supernatural. I am the God who opens paths in the sea, but I only do so when my children stop trying to swim against the current and accept my boat. Let your hands rest now. Release those ropes that are cutting your skin. What you call defeat, I call space for my manifestation. At this moment, I am undoing the knots that your anxiety has tightened. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone, not even to me. My strength becomes perfect precisely in your weakness, at that exact point where your capacity ends and my sovereignty begins. But there is still a veil that needs to be removed, a secret about your constancy that I want to teach you so that you don't fall back into the cycle of despair. There is a way to keep your heart at peace every day, and I have prepared something special to help you on this journey of constant intimacy. Do you feel that your soul is ready to take a deeper step in our daily relationship? Tell me one thing, with all the sincerity of your spirit. What is the area of your life that you are most afraid to fully surrender into my hands? If this word has brought light to your darkness, like this message as a sign that you accept my action, share this video with that friend you know is exhausted from fighting alone. Write in the comments the phrase that declares your new posture before heaven. Your action is enough. Stay with me, because in the next moment I will show you how to walk with me every day without weariness overcoming you again. Now that your hands finally rest and you understand that my actions do not depend on your weariness, I want to invite you to make this peace not just a fleeting moment, but the constant rhythm of your days. I see your early mornings, the weight of the silence when the house sleeps, and your hidden tears that the pillow knows so well. I know that keeping the flesh on the cross requires a vigilance that sometimes seems to drain your last strength. Therefore, if your heart desires to go deeper with me on this journey, I have prepared a gift for you, a journey that I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was designed to be your companion on mornings of doubt and your daily remedy, when the urge to return to old ways knocks at your door. Access to this daily encounter with me is in the link in the description of this video and also in the first comment I left pinned for you. And listen carefully. If today is not possible for you, do not condemn yourself or allow guilt to reach you. Remain here with me, because I will also sustain you with this message until the end. For it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verse 8, "Let me hear of your loving kindness in the morning, for in you I trust. Show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul, and so that your heart may rest and you may have no worries about the technical aspects." After you register, access to this journey will arrive in the email you provided, with all the simple instructions explained step by step so that you can begin without confusion. This book is my constant whisper so that you will never again feel lost in the multitude of your own thoughts. Now take a deep breath, feel the air fill your lungs, and trust that what I began in you today, I am powerful enough to finish. Remain here, for there are still secrets that I only reveal to those who are not in a hurry to leave my presence. I saw it when you looked at your hands this afternoon, and felt an emptiness you could almost touch. Perhaps it was when you put away an object that reminded you of someone who's gone, or when you deleted that contact from your phone that you swore you'd never delete. There's a sharp pain in letting go, a kind of coldness that runs up your arms when you realize you have nothing left to hold on to. You felt small, as if your life was being reduced to nothing, while the world outside continues spinning at a speed you can no longer keep up with. But what you call loss, I call space. The mystery of empty hands is something your flesh will never understand, because it was made to accumulate, to hold on, and to hide behind possessions and certainties. I, however, tell you, I chose your emptiness so that I could finally fill it with what is eternal. For the new to be born in your life, the old must be definitively left behind on that cross of renunciation we mentioned earlier. It's no use asking me for new wine if you still cling to the old cracked wineskin of your past. I see how you still visit, in your thoughts, those sorrows from 10 or 20 years ago, as if they were hidden treasures. You clean them, caress them, and allow them to dictate the rhythm of your present. This is the flesh trying to keep alive what I have already sentenced to death. Crucifying these feelings is not forgetting that they existed, but it is removing their power to paralyze you. At that moment, when the silence of your house seems to scream that you have nothing left, it is precisely there that I am whispering, "Now you have me." For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 18 and 19, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness, and rivers in the desert. Understand that I didn't say the path was already there, I said I would put it there. But for you to see that path, your eyes need to stop searching for what's left behind. The desert of your loneliness and the wasteland of your lack of perspective are the perfect places for my rivers of living water. When you open your hands and let go of what was hurting you, the palm of your hand becomes the cradle for my provision. It's a silent process, almost invisible to human eyes, but profoundly real in the spirit. Are you ready to let nothing become the backdrop for my everything? I haven't yet shown you what's hidden on the horizon of this new posture of yours. There's a strengthening that begins from within, a clarity that only souls stripped of vanity can achieve. But for that you need to understand what happens when the weariness of your eyes finally encounters my supernatural strength. Do you feel your vision beginning to change, as if the scales of pessimism are falling away right now? Before we move on, let me ask you something. If I asked you to surrender today what you consider your greatest security, would you trust that my hands are greater than your fear? If this truth is echoing in your heart, show me that you desire this new beginning. Leave your amen as a seal of reception and share this video with that person who feels lost amidst the ashes of what once was. Write in the comments the word that defines your openness to the new: renewal. Don't leave now, because what I'm about to reveal to you is how to find strength where everyone says only weakness remains. I saw you in front of that stained mirror earlier today. Even before the sun tinged the sky orange, you splashed a handful of cold water on your face, trying to ward off not only sleepiness, but that fog of discouragement that insists on clouding your vision. The tiredness in your eyes is not just physical, it's the weight of 1,000 worries that you carry as if they were stones in an invisible backpack. You looked at your own reflection and felt the strong woman everyone knew fading, giving way to someone who just wanted to close her eyes and not have to make any decisions for a long time. I was there, by your side, watching as you tried to disguise your fragility with a veneer of duty fulfilled, while your spirit yearned for a help the world cannot offer. Many times, you believe that walking in the Spirit is a state of constant euphoria or unwavering strength, but I tell you that walking in my Spirit begins precisely when your strength runs out. It's when your eyes are so tired that you give up trying to see the path ahead and accept only holding my hand to take the next step. The flesh pushes you toward activism, toward shouting, toward the effort that drains your soul. My Spirit invites you to the rest of trust. In that moment when you felt your legs were about to give way while climbing the stairs, or when your vision darkened for a second due to the pressure of anxiety, I was sustaining every atom of your body. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Understand the mystery of this promise. I don't expect you to be strong to act in your life. I expect you to recognize that you no longer have the strength, so that my arm can be your support. When you try to walk by what you see, by your bank account, your child's behavior, your doctor's diagnosis, or the coldness of your marriage, you are walking by the flesh, and the flesh always tires. But when you close your eyes to the evidence of this world and allow me to be your vision, you begin to float above the circumstances that once drowned you. I teach you to walk not by what you see around you, but by what I breathe into you in the silence of your prayer. I am restoring the brightness to your eyes now, removing the veil of exhaustion and placing the eye drops of divine discernment. You will begin to see exits where before there were only walls, and you will feel a vigor that does not come from vitamins or physical rest, but from the eternal source that flows from my throne. But for this vigor to become permanent, we need to deal with a hiding place you still keep locked away, a place where pride disguises itself as self-sufficiency in the darkness of your room. Do you feel my light reaching the most hidden corners of your heart? Tell me, with a soul stripped of pretension, when was the last time you allowed yourself to be cared for by me without trying to solve the problem before surrendering to me? If you feel my strength embracing you now, enjoy this message as an act of surrender. Share this encounter with someone who also has heavy eyes from crying or fighting so much. Write in the comments the word that releases my energy within you. I am sustained. Remain silent with me, for what I am about to reveal to you is the final blow against that which still prevents you from being fully free. I accompany you to the threshold of your room, that refuge where the masks you wear during the day finally fall to the ground, like heavy, dusty clothes that no longer fit. There, in the secrecy of that environment that smells of real life, of the perfume you chose and of the silence that only those four walls know, I see what no one else sees. I see your pride, not the kind that seeks applause or the spotlight, but the silent and painful pride that makes you carry the world on your shoulders for fear of appearing weak. You sit on the edge of the bed, your shoulders hunched under the weight of responsibilities I never asked you to carry alone, and your heart still insists on replaying every word of that argument, every injustice suffered, searching for a way to be right. But true victory, my daughter, is not in shouting or having the last word, but in the silent surrender of yourself at my feet. The death of pride hurts because it is the armor you built to avoid being hurt again. You think that if you are humble, you will be trampled, that if you are silent, you will be forgotten. But in the kingdom of my spirit, the laws are different. I saw when you gripped the sheets tightly last night, holding back tears so that no one in the house would hear your fragility. At that moment, your pride told you to be strong on your own, but my spirit invited you to be small so that I could be great in you. Crucifying the flesh in the secrecy of your room is the act of opening your hands and saying, Lord, I relinquish being right. I relinquish controlling what others think of me. I only want your peace. For it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 6, Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. This exaltation that I promise is not a human trophy, but the elevation of your soul above the pettiness, offenses, and needs that your flesh so desperately craves. When you humble yourself in your room, I exalt you in your spirit. I remove from you that need for approval that makes you a slave to the opinions of others. The scene of you kneeling on the worn carpet of your room is more powerful than any army marching on the earth. It is there that the chains of your ego break. You realize that you no longer need the armor of pride when you understand that my love is your unshakable shield. Now, as the silence of your room transforms into a sanctuary of renewal, feel the freshness of my presence, cleansing the wounds that pride has left open. But I haven't yet told you what happens to those who choose to float on the waters of my will, leaving behind the weight of human anchors. There is a lightness you haven't yet experienced, something that changes your walk and your breath, something that is only revealed to those who are not afraid to die to themselves. Do you feel your heart becoming lighter, as if a stone were being removed from your chest at this very second? Let me ask you, from heart to heart, what do you gain by maintaining this barrier of pride, besides a loneliness that hurts you more each day? If this word has found the right place in your soul, leave a sign of your humility before me. Subscribe to this channel if you feel this is our meeting place, and share this message with someone you know who lives suffocated by the need to be strong all the time. Write in the comments the phrase that will disarm your flesh now. Your peace is enough for me. Remain in prayer with me, for what I am about to reveal to you is the secret of lightness that will transform your way of seeing life. Do you feel that gentle breeze entering through the crack in the window now, right after the sun begins to draw golden lines on the floor of your hallway? It is the smell of wet earth rising after the storm that raged over your soul all night. Do you remember how your chest felt constricted by an iron belt, how difficult it was to draw air and feel it truly reaching your lungs? Well, I tell you that this pressure is disappearing, because you have finally begun to understand that dying to your desires is not a tragic end, but the only secret to beginning to live fully, without the weight of having to carry the world on your shoulders. The lightness of walking on the waters of my spirit is something your flesh will never understand, because it only knows how to deal with what is solid, heavy, and visible. Your flesh tells you that you need guarantees, signed papers, human promises, and a contingency plan for every step. But my spirit invites you to a state of divine floating. It's like when you were a child and someone held you in the water. The moment you stopped struggling with your legs and arms in panic, your body simply rose. I am that hand that sustains you, but for you to feel my strength lifting you, you need to stop fighting to stay afloat with your own effort. For it is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 30, "For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Look at your journey so far. How many heavy burdens have you carried that I never placed upon you? The burden of guilt for mistakes from 20 years ago. The burden of trying to please those who will never be satisfied. The burden of anticipating evil before it even knocks on the door. When you decide to crucify your flesh today, you are, in fact, leaving those burdens by the wayside. Walking in the Spirit is like walking through a cotton field after spending your whole life dragging chains through a swamp. You will discover that my will is not a prison, but the widest horizon you have ever seen. At that moment, as you watch the dust dancing in the rays of light that cross the room, you realize that life can be simple. You don't need 1,000 strategies. You only need a sincere yes each morning. When your will dies, your fear dies with it. Because there is nothing left to defend, only one God to worship. But I haven't yet shown you what happens when this peaceful silence meets your deepest impulses, those that used to keep you awake at night. There is an authority I am about to place in your voice, something that will silence the storms around you out of pure respect for my presence within you. In this moment of clarity, let me ask you, what do you feel when you finally realize you no longer need to carry what I have already taken upon myself? If this lightness is reaching your shoulders now, show me that you receive this new season. Sign up in this place where my voice meets you, and bring this relief to someone living under the yoke of oppression and extreme weariness. Write in the comments the word that defines your new path: float. Stay attentive to my whisper, because now I will teach you to master what once made you cry in secret. And I know the accelerated pulse in your neck when anger or anxiety tries to take control of your mouth and hands. I saw you yesterday, in the late afternoon, holding the phone so tightly that your fingers turned white, feeling that overwhelming urge to respond in kind, to prove your point, to unleash the words that burned in your throat like live embers. The flesh is impatient. It is in a hurry to defend itself. It feeds on immediate reaction to feel powerful. But in that second of tension, I whispered softly in your ear, "Not yet, my daughter. Rest in my silence." And you felt that brief conflict, that storm of impulses that once dominated you and led you to say things you bitterly regretted even before the sun set. What once made you cry in the early hours of the morning, dwelling on words spoken or decisions made in the heat of the moment, is now beginning to lose its power in my presence within you. I am giving you self-control, which is not a human capacity to restrain yourself, but a fruit of my spirit that matures in your heart. Remember that night a few months ago, when you couldn't take it anymore and exploded, and then spent hours sobbing in the dark of the room, feeling like the worst woman, thinking you would never have control over your own temper. At that moment, you were fighting alone. But today, the scenario has changed. The blue light of your cell phone reflecting on your tired face no longer needs to be the trigger for your despair. For it is written in the book of Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32, "Better is the one who is slow to anger than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city." Do you perceive the magnitude of this? I am not asking you to be a warrior who conquers external kingdoms. I'm anointing you to be the queen of your own inner world. When you allow my whisper to calm the storm of your impulses, you are exercising an authority that makes hell retreat. That desire to check what shouldn't be checked, that compulsion to eat to fill the void, or that need to fight to be heard. All these are echoes of the flesh being crucified today. I am replacing your scream with my peace and your impulsiveness with my wisdom. Do you feel how your heart slows down now, just by hearing my voice assuring you that I am in control of everything? I am freeing you from the chains that enslaved you to your own emotions. You are no longer that person whom any wind of doctrine or any offense from others could destabilize. But we are not finished clearing the path yet. There is a rendezvous on the horizon of your new life, a place where the pain of the past transforms into a scent of victory you cannot yet imagine. Do you feel ready to see what I have prepared for your tomorrow, now that your inner self is finally in order? Let me enter that space that remains between what you feel and what you do, what still makes you lose your calm when no one is watching. If you accept this dominion that I offer you as a cloak of protection, like this message to confirm our meeting, subscribe to this channel because it is here that I will continue to train your heart for victory and take this secret of peace to someone who lives in war with themselves. Write in the comments the word that seals your divine self-control, temperance. Don't move from there. Because what I'm about to reveal to you is the beauty of the new horizon that emerges when the flesh finally falls silent. I see you pausing for a moment before that living room window, where the curtain sways gently in the wind that carries the scent of the dawning day. You hold the mug of hot coffee in your hands, feeling the warmth pass to your skin, while you watch the first birds crossing the still pale sky. There's a strange new feeling in your chest, something you haven't felt in a long time. A silence that isn't emptiness, but fullness. What once seemed like a painful end, that renunciation that made you sob in the darkness last Tuesday, is now revealing itself as the fertile ground where I am planting your tomorrow. The horizon of your new life is no longer a blurred line of fear, but a prearranged meeting that I myself scheduled with your soul. You spent years believing that if you let go of your old habits and defense mechanisms, you would disappear. The flesh told you that your identity lay in your suffering, in your struggles, and in your ability to endure everything alone. But see how the light now shines through the cracks in the wooden floor, revealing a beauty that was hidden beneath the dust of anxiety. Crucifying the flesh was the necessary birth, so that your true essence, the one I planned even before you were born, could finally breathe the air of my glory. The death of yourself was not annihilation, but the opening of a portal to a kingdom where you no longer need to shout to be seen, because you are mine and that is enough. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here, everything has become new. These 4 words are not merely poetic consolation. They are the spiritual reality that now sustains your steps. When you walk through the kitchen to wash that mug, or when you put on your shoes to face the routine outside, you are no longer the same woman who entered this prayer. That version of you, who felt like a victim of circumstances, has been nailed to the cross of renunciation. Now the one who walks is a daughter clothed in authority, someone who understands that my glory is not a burden, but the light that guides her gaze. This horizon you see now is only the beginning of a road that I have personally cleared for you to walk on. I am preparing surprises in the details of your day, in chance encounters at the market or in phone calls that bring good news, to confirm that your yes to my spirit has changed the course of your story. But we are not finished yet. There is one last revelation, a golden key that I mentioned at the beginning, and that is about to be delivered directly into your hands. Can you feel the expectation vibrating in your spirit? Something is about to be sealed right now, a final touch that will forever change your tomorrow. Before we reach the final moment, answer me. Can you perceive that the pain of renunciation was small compared to the peace that now floods your room? If your heart already glimpses this new horizon, give a sign of your gratitude to heaven. Sign up to continue walking under my constant instruction and bring this hope of new life to someone who is still trapped in the darkness of the past. Write in the comments the word that marks your spiritual birth today. Dawn. Don't look away now, because what I'm about to whisper at the end of this message will be the strength you'll use for the rest of your life. Now, my daughter, feel the weight of my gaze upon you. A gaze that does not judge you for your falls, but that lovingly contemplates your decision to rise and walk in my light. We have crossed this valley of renunciation together, and I saw how your heart beat strongly as you understood that crucifying the flesh is not a punishment, but the gateway to your true freedom. You arrived here carrying the heavy chains of your own will, your pride, and that anxiety that stole the sparkle from your eyes in the lonely early mornings. But now, at the end of this, our encounter, I feel that your soul is lighter, as if the air you breathe finally manages to fill your entire being. You have learned that you no longer need to shout to be heard or fight with your own hands to be protected, for my spirit is now your guide, your breath, and your unwavering strength. Remember that I promised you right at the beginning of this journey that I would give you a spiritual key, a phrase that would be your shield, and your answer to every challenge that tomorrow tries to impose on you. The time has come to reveal it to your heart as a whisper of victory that should echo in every thought of yours from today onward. This is my answer to your weaknesses and my guarantee of your destiny. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. I want you to appropriate this truth now, not as a popular saying, but as the seal of my presence in you. Write it right now here in the comments with all the strength of your faith and with the authority of one who has decided to walk by the Spirit. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. By writing these words, you are declaring to the spiritual world that your flesh no longer rules over you, and that my strength is what sustains you at every step. There is still so much that heaven wishes to reveal to you, mysteries that I have prepared for the next messages, and that will continue to shape your new identity. Do not stray from this source. Continue listening to my voice through the other messages I have set aside for you in this playlist, for each word is a step on your ladder of glory. I will be waiting for you in each new video, in each new whisper, because our path has only just begun. May my peace flood your waking and your sleeping. May my light dispel every shadow of doubt in your path, and may you walk today with the certainty that you are eternally and deeply loved by me.